Today I added BMW to F1 2024 and simulated 10 seasons of their career. Can one of the biggest brands in the automotive industry be successful in Formula 1 once again? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Chris, welcome back to CFRacing and enjoy the video. Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris here, otherwise known as CFRacing, and yes guys, I'm back. My baseball season's finished. I was coaching this year and I was playing baseball, so I really didn't have time to make videos on the weekends for you guys, and obviously I work during the week, so sorry that I've been kind of doing like one, maybe two videos a month, but now it's going to be back to videos hopefully every single week, because F1 season's kind of buzzing right now. I mean, I hate the Norris Piastri title fight because Ferrari's not in it, but hey, what can you do? That's just Formula 1. But guys, I have an interesting simulation for you guys today. I know I've done this video in the past, adding BMW, but that's a couple, maybe 2-3 years old. So now I added BMW once again, and let's take a look at a little bit of the admin for this video. So the two drivers I'm going to start off with in this simulation, one is going to be Mick Schumacher. I think Mick Schumacher deserves another chance in Formula 1, so I decided to bring him back. And the other one, I wanted to get an experienced driver in this, so I decided to put in Sergio Perez. Because Sergio Perez, I'm not sure if he'll get the Cadillac seat in 2026. He might. Who really knows? It could be him, could be Bottas, could be anybody. But I think he'll do pretty solid as well in the BMW. I know last time I did Robert Kubica, so I'm like, I'm not going to do him again. For the engine, I didn't really know what to do because back in 2008 or whatever last time BMW was in Formula 1, they used the BMW engine. So, I mean, not like I have one of those. So I decided to give them the Ferrari engine because they were BMW Sauber back in the day, and Sauber uses Ferrari engines. So I hope that's fine. I mean, who knows? I'm not going to give a Mercedes engine because, like, you know, the whole German beef thing would be pretty bad. But with that being said, hit that like button, guys. Subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord, links in the description down below. And yeah, let's get into the livery reveal and Season 1. Season 1, 2025 was a championship win for Max Verstappen as he took 15 wins on the year, 498 points to finish in P1. P2 was Lando Norris, third was Charles Leclerc, fourth was Oscar Piastri, fifth was Tsunoda, sixth was Hamilton, seventh was George Russell, eighth was Fernando Alonso. He had a pretty good season in the Aston Martin. Stroll was ninth, Lawson was 10th, Jack Crawford was your F3 champion, or F2 champion, excuse me, and Tim Travis was your F3 champion. Red Bull won their constructors title, shocker, with actually Verstappen and Tsunoda as the driver lineup. Tsunoda did pretty good backing up Max Verstappen this year. McLaren was in P2 and Ferrari was third. Mercedes was fourth with Aston Martin fifth. RB 6th, Haas in 7th, Williams in 8th, Sauber in 9th. BMW in their first season back scored 11 points. They tied Sauber for 10th, or 9th and 10th, whatever, and Alpine was in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Valtteri Bottas goes to Alpine. That moves Daniel Ricciardo to RB. Gasly goes to Williams. Zhou goes to Haas out of free agency. Isaac Hadjar, Carlos Sainz, and Esteban Ocon all end up as free agents heading into Season 2 of 2026. Also heading into that season, there is no regulation change. Season 2 of 2026 was Oscar Piastri's first World Drivers' Championship, and he kind of had a great title fight with Lando Norris as Piastri took 12 wins on the year, 464 points to finish in first, and Lando Norris had 8 wins on the year, 448 points to finish in P2. Kind of like what we're seeing right now, actually, in 2025. Verstappen was in third with Charles Leclerc in fourth, Tsunoda in fifth, Perez up into 6th. What a season for BMW. Hamilton in 7th, Alonso in 8th, Russell's 9th, and Gasly was 10th. Victor Martins in his 5th F2 season was champion, and Sophia Flores, I don't know how to say her last name. I don't know how the heck she won F3, but she did. Shocker. McLaren win their first constructors title since 2024, and I guess in real life it would be 2025, with Red Bull in 2nd and Ferrari in 3rd. BMW go up to 4th, and I forgot to update. Was this the one? And I forgot to update the side up downs on this one. That's my fault. We have Aston Martin in 5th with Williams in 6th, or Mercedes in 6th, Williams in 7th, Alpine in 8th, RB in 9th, Sauber in 10th, and Haas in dead last. I believe we're supposed to put a 7 there in front of BMW, not a 1. And going into 2027, we have some driver transfers. That means Zaina Maloney as a rookie goes to Mercedes. That's an interesting driver swap right there. George Russell goes to Red Bull. Tsunoda ends up as a free agent. Carlos Sainz goes to Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso goes to Ferrari. That leaves Hamilton as a free agent. Esteban Ocon goes to Alpine, and that leaves Franco Colapinto as a free agent. And heading into Season 3, 2027, there is a regulation change to Aero. Season 3, 2027 was a second driver's title of the simulation for Max Verstappen as he took 13 wins on the year. He dominated 440 points, finishing first. George Russell, Verstappen's teammate, was in second, did not put up a title fight against Max. Alonso was in third. Antonelli finished fourth. Charles Leclerc was fifth. Sainz was sixth. Stroll was seventh. Piastri eighth. Perez ninth. Lawson 10th. Made-up driver Lambert was the F2 champion, and Alex Dunn, he's in F2 right now, but he is the F3 champion in 2027. Red Bull win their second constructors title of the sim, followed by Ferrari in second, Aston Martin in third, Mercedes in fourth, McLaren dropped down to fifth, BMW dropped down to sixth, RB in 7th, Alpine in 8th, Williams in 9th, Sauber in P10, and Haas once again finish in dead last. We got some good driver transfers heading into Season 4. With that, by that I mean Yuki Tsunoda goes to BMW, Teo Pourchaire moves to Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton goes to Sauber, Gabriel Bortoleto goes to Haas, Ollie Behrman goes to McLaren, Oscar Piastri goes to Ferrari. That moves Charles Leclerc to partner Hamilton at Sauber. That leaves Nico Hülkenberg and Mick Schumacher as free agents heading into 2028. Also heading into 2028, there is no regulation change. Season 4, 2028 was Verstappen's third World Drivers' Championship of the simulation as he took 10 wins on the year, 404 points, finished in first. Russell once again did not put up a title fight against Verstappen. Antonelli was in third. Lawson was in fourth. What a season for him in that RB. Norris was fifth. Behrman was sixth. Perez was seventh. Albon was 8th, Piastri was 9th, Bottas was 10th, Gabriele Mini was the F2 champion, and Van Open, don't know how to pronounce that fully, was the F3 champion. Red Bull win their third constructors title of the sim with McLaren up into P2 and Mercedes in third. RB had a great season, their fourth, with BMW in 5th, Williams in 6th, Ferrari in 7th, bad year for them, Alpine in 8th, Aston Martin 9th, Sauber in 10th, and Haas in dead last. Leclerc ditches Sauber after one season. He goes to Mercedes. Stroll goes to RB. Logan Sargent and Lambert both go to Sauber. Mick Schumacher goes to Aston Martin, and that leaves Zane Maloney, Lewis Hamilton, and Daniel Ricciardo all as free agents heading into Season 5, 2029, and also heading into 2029. No regulation change. Season 5, 2029 was Verstappen's fourth World Drivers' Championship of the sim as he took 14 wins, 460 points, and he dominated Russell even more this season. Lawson finished in P2. He's looking pretty solid. Russell was in 3rd, Norris in 4th, Behrman in 5th, Antonelli in 6th, Perez in 7th, Piastri 8th, Stroll was in 9th, and Charles Leclerc put that car up into P10, but he did get beaten by Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Muller was the F2 champion, and Duval was the F3 champion. Pretty much every driver now is going to be completely made up in F2 and F3, so that's pretty cool. Red Bull win their fourth constructors title of the sim with McLaren in P2 and RB in 3rd. Mercedes was 4th with BMW in 5th, Ferrari in 6th, Williams in 7th, Aston Martin in 8th, Alpine 9th, Haas in P10, and Sauber finish in dead last. And I forgot to update the point tallies for the teams. That's my fault. Driver transfers. We got Gasly going to Mercedes, Antonelli going to Red Bull. That's going to be absolutely huge. Lambert goes to Alpine, Perez goes to Sauber, Zhou goes to Williams, Colapinto goes to Haas, and this is the biggest one of all, Max Verstappen goes to BMW. So we actually have some open title fights now. Maybe Antonelli can win one. And heading into Season 6, 2030, there is a regulation change to the power and durability department. Season 6, 2030 was Ollie Behrman's first World Drivers' Championship. Look what happens, Ollie, when Norris is your teammate. As Behrman took 8 wins on the year, 324 points to finish in P1. Norris took 4 wins, 318 points to finish in P2. And Oscar Piastri, what a title fight we had, took 5 wins, 316 points to finish in 3rd. Antonelli, also part of this title fight. This was a 4-way title fight going into the last race, by the way. Took 4 wins, 310 points. He was in 4th. Russell was in 5th. Pourchaire in 6th. Lawson in 7th. Stroll was 8th. Albon was 9th. Charles Leclerc was 10th. Cresswell was an F2 champion, and Bedrin, who's a real driver, he won F3. That wasn't called. McLaren win the Constructors title with Red Bull in P2 and Ferrari in 3rd. RB down to 4th, Williams in 5th, Mercedes in 6th, Aston Martin in 7th, For some reason, BMW Verstappen dropped down to 8th. That's crazy. Alpine in 9th, Haas in P10, and Sauber finish in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Carlos Sainz goes to Red Bull, Muller goes to Alpine, Cresswell, pretty solid rookie, goes to Aston Martin, Valtteri Bottas goes to Sauber, and that leaves Ocon and Perez as free agents. And heading into Season 7 at 2031, there is no regulation. Season 7, 2031 was Andrea Kimi Antonelli's. We had a Baronelli back-to-back World Drivers Champions. That's pretty awesome. He took 12 wins on the year, 452 points, and dominated. It wasn't even close. Lawson was P2, Stroll was 3rd, Norris was 4th, Behrman was 5th, Piastri was 6th, Pourchaire was 7th, Sainz was 8th, Max Verstappen was P9, and Charles Leclerc was in P10. Kasper Suka was your F2 champion, and Lee, made-up driver, was the F3 champion. RB win their first Constructors title ever. So happy for them. With Red Bull in P2 and McLaren in 3rd. Ferrari was 4th with Mercedes in 5th, BMW in 6th, Williams in 7th, Aston Martin 8th, Alpine 9th, Haas in P10, and Sauber finish in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Lando Norris goes to Ferrari, Gabriel Bortoleto goes to McLaren, George Russell goes to Alpine, Hadjar goes to Sauber, Piastri also goes to Sauber, and Muller goes to Haas. Heading into Season 8, 2032, there is a regulation change to the chassis department. Season 8, 2032 was Liam Lawson's first ever World Drivers Championship, and probably one of the first of my sims like ever, which is awesome. He took 10 wins, 372 points, finish in P1. Granted, his teammate was Lance Stroll, who took 9 wins, 329 points, finish in P2. Antonelli was in 3rd, Teo Pourchaire was 4th, Norris was 5th, Max Verstappen was 6th, Albon was 7th, Tsunoda was 8th, Zhou was 9th, Sainz was P10. Arvid Lindblad finally wins the F2 championship. That took forever, and made-up driver named Fares was the F3 champion. RB went back-to-back Constructors titles with Ferrari in P2 and Red Bull in 3rd. BMW are up to 4th with Williams in 5th, Mercedes in 6th, McLaren in 7th, Aston Martin in 8th, Alpine 9th, Sauber P10, and Haas in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Oscar Piastri goes to Mercedes, Marchetti goes to Red Bull, Carlos Sainz and Packer both go to Sauber, Charles Leclerc and Hazard both end up as free agents, and heading into Season 9, 2033, there is no regulation. Season 9, 2033 was Andrea Kimi Antonelli's second World Drivers Championship of this simulation, as this was a crazy title fight between him and this Cresswell guy, generational talent over here. Antonelli had 8 wins, 359 points, finish in P1, and Cresswell had 9 wins, 357 points, finish in P2, and he destroyed Mick Schumacher. What a job this Cresswell guy did. Don't know who he was? Absolute stud, though. Teo Pourchaire took 2 wins. He was in 3rd. Verstappen was 4th with Marchetti in 5th. Another really good rookie season for him, but he was in that Red Bull with Andrea Kimi Antonelli. 6th was Albon. In 7th, we had Liam Lawson. 8th was Behrman. 9th was Schumacher. And 10th was Zhou Guanyu. Jara was the F2 champion, and Herman, totally not Franz Herman, was the F3 champion. Red Bull win their 5th Constructors title of the sim with Aston Martin in P2 and Ferrari in 3rd. BMW was 4th with Williams in 5th, RB in 6th, McLaren in 7th, Mercedes in 8th, Alpine was in 9th, Sauber was in P10, and Haas again was in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Marchetti goes to Mercedes, Zhou goes to Red Bull, Packer goes to Alpine, Gasly goes to RB, Stroll and Hadjar both end up in Sauber, and Lambert goes to Williams. And heading into the final season, Season 10, 2034, there is a regulation change to the aero and chassis department. Season 10, 2034, Andrea Kimi Antonelli takes his 3rd World Drivers Championship, and it wasn't even close this time. Zhou did not put up a title fight at all, as Antonelli took 13 wins, 445 points, finish in P1. Teo Pourchaire was in 2nd, Lando Norris was 3rd, Zhou was 4th, Cresswell was in 5th, Behrman was 6th, Piastri was 7th, Marchetti was 8th, Lawson was 9th, and Bortoleto was in P10. Lee was the F2 champion, and whatever Lee was, it was an F3 champion before, and Back was an F2 champion. They're probably the 2 shortest names I've ever seen in this game. Red Bull win their 6th Constructors title of the simulation with Ferrari in P2 and Mercedes in 3rd. McLaren was 4th with Aston Martin in 5th, RB in 6th, Alpine in 7th, Williams in 8th, BMW 9th, Haas in P10, and Sauber finish in dead last. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this 10-year simulation, and we're going to take a look at the final stats right now. And here at the end of the simulation, it wasn't the best one for BMW, as they took like maybe 5 wins in their entire simulation, took no World Drivers Championships and no World Constructors Championships. But you know what? I've seen worse. I've seen teams pretty much finish last every single simulation. So, sucks for BMW, but for the rest of the 10 years, Verstappen had 4 World Drivers' Championships, Antonelli had 3, Lawson, Behrman, and Piastri all had 1. Red Bull had 6 constructors titles, McLaren and RB both had 2, and in terms of wins, it was quite spread out this time. Verstappen had 58, Antonelli had 45, then it was a big drop-off, Norris had 25, Lawson had 22, best sim he's ever had, Piastri had 19, Russell had 15, Stroll had 14 wins, can't believe that, Behrman had 11, Pourchaire had 9, Cresswell had 9, Charles Leclerc only had 4 wins, not my favorite simulation, I won't lie, Alonso had 4 wins, Marchetti had 2 wins, and Albon had 1 win. So I'm going to wrap up the simulation here. If you do want any more car brands or other brands that you want to see in Formula 1, leave them in the comment section down below. With that being said, see you guys next time.